Alright, so unfortunately Mr. Hunter does have to be gone today. Trust me, I do not want to be gone, but it is our first baseball game and it's away and we leave super early, so I just had to get an afternoon sub and I apologize. So first, if you haven't yet, you need to finish those videos over the content learning of the 1920s. You need to finish those videos and then also finish the note cards. Make sure you're doing those in depth because this is really the only time we're going to touch on that content information. Okay, the next thing you are going to do is you're going to open the paper topics in Google Classroom. Okay, here is your final topics. Now, like I said, I try to get you your first choices, but all of these topics fit into everybody's top 3. If you really do want to change, please come and tell me, but this is a topic you are going to be researching today. Alright, the next thing we need to become familiar with is the 1920s project rubric. If you could open this up for me. Okay, there's going to be really 2 things that we're going to be grading. First of all, we're going to be seeing if you can understand historical patterns, periods of time, and the relationships among these different elements. And then also, the second standard we are going to be assessing is really your ability to tell us a story of this person. And that's really going to be your presentation. We're not going to focus on the bottom rubric today. We're going to focus on the top rubric right here. So really the important thing, and like I said before, is we are going to be arguing, we are going to be telling the people that are listening to us why this person is important in history. So if you look at the exceeds category right here, what I'm highlighting says, it explains the importance in history and all the information is accurate. Audience does not have to infer reasons why this person or the topic is important to history. That means you are coming out and saying this is important because. You're not just giving us a lot of information. Some of it, maybe the audience could say, oh, that's why they're important. But specifically kind of saying it, specifically laying out there and being very direct with it is going to get you in the exceeds category. That is our main purpose for this project. Okay, obviously we want well-chosen sufficient facts, definitions, concrete details, quotations, other information that is going to be super important for the audience to understand. We want all of that. Okay, there is going to be a background that is going to be laid out over this person or this topic that you are researching, but in reality, we need to move this topic to the importance in history, not just who is Al Capone or who is Babe Ruth. Okay, we're going to look at why are they important to history, why are we even studying them, how are they important in our lives. I would really like you guys to kind of pause this video and read through each of the different categories because you are going to be looking back at this rubric today. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to dive into your research. So you know your topic, you've read over the rubric, have a little understanding of what you need to do. You are going to open all 3 of these links that I have in Google Classroom. One of them will be inside the assignment as I made a copy for you. The other one is an example of your assignment, and the other one is a link to the databases. Please open all of those. Alright, so this is what your table is going to look like for what you will fill in today. We are going to find you 3 resources today. That is your goal, and that is something you must have to have done tomorrow before class when Mr. Hunter is back. 3 resources. Okay, I'm going to go over my example and all of this in just a little bit. First, I want you to go to this link, okay? This is the database link, and I know you guys have used this before in doing English projects and doing projects for other classes. This is all the information we're going to use. We're going to use nothing from Google. We're going to stay within these databases because this is backed up research. These are 100% true facts, and some of you guys know that everything on the internet, is not true. Okay, if we're using these resources, we know they're going to be very true and good to use. Okay, so what I would recommend is there's a lot of different databases that are going to be good on finding kind of initial background information on your person or topic. Britannica School Edition, that is going to be a good one to use for kind of general information. You can also use different reading levels too, which will help some of you out. You guys have all used EBSCO host before. This is going to be another good one to use. as well for kind of initial background research. But the one I kind of want you to look at right here is down here is Gale. This is really a good history resource, and since we're going to be focusing on U.S. history, they have a specific U.S. history link for you. Gale is a resource that I actually used almost all the time. Gale's and actually SIRS in college a lot. So this is obviously something you're going to use in higher education. Okay, so we want to click on that database, and I just would encourage everyone to kind of click on Gale right here. And I'm just going to use the example of Al Capone for my research. Okay, so just initially, you're going to type in your person or your topic up here and just click search. Okay, now this is going to be a little overwhelming. You are going to have a lot of resources that Gale gives you, and you guys know how to limit them. You have learned those skills in literacy class. Please do that if you want, but I would just kind of encourage to kind of sift through and search through a bunch of different topics. Now, what I would start with is your biographies, because it is important to have background information on your person or your topic, because that's well chosen and that's sufficient facts. If the audience doesn't know any background information, it's going to be really important for them to understand the importance of this person or the topic. So I am actually going to click on the top one. I already have the tab open here, but this is just going to be my biography of Al Capone. Okay, I think it's this one right here. Yep, my biography of Al Capone. Okay, so I would go here. I would kind of read through it, see if this would be a good source for me to use. See if I can use any of the facts that it has. Okay. If you decide that it's going to be a good resource, that is when you're going to go back into your table. Okay, I'm going to explain your table here. Alright, so this is my example that I have included for you guys in Google Classroom. First of all, for your project resource, you need to find 3 sources. Okay, this is the MLA cited format of the source that I just went through. So right here, you guys know how to get that. Go to Citation Tools. If you want to use something other than this to cite your resources, you can do EasyBib, or you can save it in your Google Drive. You guys are good with technology. I'm going to give you the freedom to do that. Okay, but you need to copy and paste that into your research source right here, because that is the source. You also need to write kind of the general information it covers. So you guys have read over it, skimmed through it, whatnot. You know what is going to be in that resource. I decided that in this resource, there's going to be background information on Al Capone that's going to be important, and kind of setting the foundation for explaining him. Next, I'm going to go to the rubric. Okay, keywords found on the rubric. Now, I want to stay here, okay, in the exceeding category, because I want to get 100% on this project. So, keywords in the rubric, I know that I can find well-chosen, relevant, and sufficient facts in this resource. So, I'm going to put that right there, well-chosen facts. I know by what I've read in the resource, I'm going to be able to find concrete details about Al Capone. So I'm going to go and I'm going to copy and paste that in the keywords on the rubric found. I am also going to have, find other information and examples that are going to be appropriate for the audience knowledge. Now that means technically that we're not just throwing random facts out there, okay? But the information that I'm gathering is going to have a purpose to lead up to what I'm going to explain into Al Capone's importance in the future. Okay, so all of that I copy and paste into here. The next thing I need to do is find text evidence. Okay, so this is when I go back into the source and I am going to find word for word text evidence that I really want to use in my project. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to copy and paste maybe a sentence, maybe a sentence or two. I would highly recommend not to do a paragraph, but you're going to copy and paste those important details, and I have done that in here. And then finally, the box on the rubric that is covered of this resource, in my opinion, is going to be exceeds. Okay, I really want you guys to kind of stick with going back to the rubric and making sure that you're sticking to the box that you really want to score in. Alright, so once I found some general information, I actually do really want to start getting to the importance of Al Capone. The good thing about Gale is it gives you a lot of different resources: biographies, primary sources, magazines, news articles, videos, academic journals, audios, case reviews, and websites. Okay, I've already searched through these a little bit just in preparing this video, and I found the website for Al Capone was a pretty good resource. It's actually from the FBI. This is going to look at kind of the importance of Al Capone and his crime during the 1920s. Okay, so it actually talks about how his crime influenced the 20s. That's going to be really important for why we're studying him. Okay, so you kind of want to look at the importance of that time era, but you also want to look at his importance in today. And Gale gives that because it gives current day audio. If you look at these dates, it's 2014. I would say that would be close enough to current day. It also gives really current ones, such as organized crime in Chicago, which was in 2016. So I see this date and I'm saying, wow, right there could be a connection to Al Capone and today's crime in Chicago, because my background information knows that there's quite a bit of crime in Chicago right now. So I actually opened that article right here, and I found that really Al Capone and his violence has influenced the violence in Chicago for a very, very long time. So I am going to use this as another resource, and I would encourage you guys to look at those resources that are going to move into the importance today. Okay, so goal today: find 3 resources and log them in to your project resource table right here. If you have any questions, please let me know when I am back tomorrow. I would just encourage you guys to just fill this out. Okay, I know I'm not here to be guiding you, but fill this out the best you can, and then we'll move on from there.